and ready to go!
It's your boy NShoH, but you already know.
Drama, what we got?
I actually gave Drama wait, which number is that? Gave it an 8.
I gave it a 10.
Yeah,
I give it a 9.
that's a 10 for me.
Yeah,
I might not give a about none of these characters. They sure do make me feel scared of these.
Oh yeah.
that was.
These all expendable as
That's
you know,
what I'm saying.
except the ones I really wish would have died. But that's okay too.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fair.
I wish Armin actually died. Personally.
That decision was hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, it was intense.
Wait,
but it was
no
kinda
spoilers, no spoilers.
Remember that time they
Oh,
threw
no
a nigga through the
spoilers.
sky in a barrel and he blew
I mean,
up
I
to
expected him to
become
live
colossal?
until like his 7 years, but we'll see.
Boom, boom.
We'll see. What we got for art style and design?
Give it a 7.
Eight.
Yeah, I gave it a 7 too. I think it's pretty standard.
8.
Okay.
Animation quality,
Give it an 8.
gave it a 9.
7.
So that take into account not just the first 2 seasons, or first 3, I guess, but also the 4th season.
Yeah, mix of
Which looks
Wit
great.
and Matt, but I think they both did a good job
Well, go ahead.
for what they did.
Oh, I thought it was like I didn't like see like any change between the seasons.
Oh, you
It
noticed
did increase moderately, but that's because they started having to make, well, like stuff like the Warhammer Titan by necessity has to
Yeah.
look cooler than just Annie running through the forest kneeing things.
Right.
Which, by the way, is still cooler than anything the Armor Titan ever did because no one ever thought anything bad was going to happen to Eren.
Armored?
Yeah, when the Warhammer Titan.
Okay, yeah.
But also any Titan that's on at the same
But-
time as Eren is absolutely by that point.
But I mean,
You
yeah,
lost.
but like,
Yeah.
Andy
It's like a
was
WWE
master her
storyline.
Titan compared to Eren.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So,
Everything
yeah.
that happened with Annie at that point of the story has so
Because
much
she
more
was
weight.
she
than the
was
cool look of
menacing
stuff.
and no one could touch her.
Yeah, she was.
And the Warhammer Titan came around
And he
and
was doing these.
Man.
not only was Eren him at that point, right? But
Hemi Turner.
Mikasa,
Miku
Levi,
Turner.
even all the
Hemi
scouts
Carter.
were just them. Like
Yeah.
the fact that the Marlians were like they were attacking the Titans. What the heck? They're barbarians. This
And
does not
then
happen.
That puts into my head. That's what I mean when I say like we had a really cool, like extremely heavy, thick layer of terror when we're going through the forest of death, because that's what that was.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone's quiet for a second because it's always the quiet before the storm. It was masterful storytelling at that point that they just embarrassingly dropped in favor of telling this dumb story about. Yeah, maybe it's right to genocide the world. Oh, no, it's not though.
Yeah, I
But
know
like
that.
Mikasa, when it's very quiet and that one member of the scouting corps is floating, he's like, "The going on?" There is no ceremony. She comes around the corner, splat, keeps running like, damn. The storm is here.
Yeah.
And then it's like, there's no way she's gonna kill Levi's whole squad, right?
Oh, until
Right?
she does.
Right?
Come on.
And then Levi having to go through and see all of this when Levi don't give except you see him literally say less. And he goes ballistic. That almost died for that.
Yep. He literally, that was awesome.
And then every time he's on screen against Zeke, it's like
He
after
takes him out.
what happened with her, it's like you have absolutely up.
I am.
Now you up. Now you have up now.
Me.
What happens in the rest? What happens to all the cool stuff? Like from the moment they find out. Oh, turns out the rest of the world still has planes and tanks. Y'all are just a bunch of dumb stuck in the walls. It's just how hard does Eren punch the bad guy? Time to do a genocide. And it just becomes way less like it was contained in a way that made everything that happened seem so intimate and good and like
unraveled too fast.
violent.
For you.
And I think it unraveled in a way that was frankly bad. I think most people that I talk to that talk about like where Attack on Titan was versus where it ended is like, I mean, it sure did go that way. Should it have? Probably not. Is it a good thing? No. That's why I don't give the plot and storytelling any.
I think I like that they made a story on our perspective.
And that's
Like,
a
actually-
good point.
of actually going into it.
I actually like that point a lot.
Because like we haven't seen like anybody actually like kill the entire world for their purpose, and personally in me,
that's a protagonist, you mean?
Yeah, like that's a good guy. Like that we thought he was good for so long, and then now we see, wow, this guy's evil as. It's like, oh, it's like if Light actually like never got caught.
We saw Sasuke become a villain. That was kind of huge for the time.
Yeah. But we also had Naruto, who was like
Xehanort?
who kept like becoming
God,
his like equal to like stop him rather than like Armin can't touch Eren after a certain point. Mikasa won't touch Eren. Like,
I was trying to give it something here because you did make a good point that we actually haven't seen a protag straight up mask off in anime and just kill the world. Never mind.
Went mask off.
You're very right.
Lelouch went mask off.
Lelouch absolutely did that.
See,
And that's what people compare Eren
Lelouch.
Lelouch died a villain.
He died a villain.
Died a villain, but he planned it. He planned it so like the world can know peace.
Yeah, but he went mask off.
So he was. Would you argue that he was still a villain the whole time?
I would say that because history is going to remember him as a villain, and because he did commit acts of great evil, at best I can give him anti-hero. But he also was stopped before he ever murdered a city.
True.
Or 12.
12 is
Or a continent.
or
His plan. Okay, so the difference is, so to his point, the difference between him and Lelouch's plan involved him being stopped, and so did Eren's. But Eren's also still committed mass genocide on a scale that is inconceivable.
They both had the ending, but Eren's dragged on a little too far. A little, right? Just a little bit.
I will say it's possible that I just really hate it. I could just really hate the twist of the story.
I know.
You hate the Japanese.
I mean, and
fashion
you explained it. You explained it.
Okay, if I look at it from a different lens and completely remove the Nazi part, the weird fascism of the Jaegerists, I still would say that the story, this is a case of everything was good until you started explaining things, in my opinion. I don't like that Eren is the reason why all the horrible happened to him, because that immediately undoes all the sympathy I had for him. It's gone in an instant. And replacing it is not understanding, but rather complete and total disdain for who he is as a person. Anytime I think about Eren, all the good memories, because I used to be like, hey, ain't no protag that's gonna beat your bad as Eren Yeager as long as we keep everything scaled so he can beat your because he's like that. He saw the Colossal Titan before he could become a Titan. And he flung himself to the top of the tower. And the first thing he said is,
That
no,
is true.
long time no see.
Yeah.
I'm about to beat your No, that's not what I think about when I think about Eren anymore. I don't think about the first time he punched the out of that Titan. Like, the first Titan on Titan violence we saw was the Titan's head get socked off because Eren got that angry.
Because he tried to save Mikasa, right?
Yep. Was it Mikasa?
I think
He
it
tried to
was.
save Mikasa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And Mikasa was like, this man acting different, Armin, let's talk about it.
And then he's like, sprints. The yell of the attack Titan should be one of the most iconic things in my memory because it's so specific. But instead, all I remember is Eren did all that to himself. Eren is a terrible person. The Jaegerists are awful. Like,
Flock
the story
is the worst character of all time.
oh my god.
He's the worst character ever.
Like, it ruined everything that Eren stood for me and represented and turned him into something that I don't like.
Okay. That's fair.
And it wasn't even a natural build up to that point either. He just decided to be terrible, by the way.
Yeah.
You see how he decided to think, and it makes sense why he put the 5 in the 5. Nah, I can concur with him. I'm just saying.
Because this is me when I talk about Toriyama in the later chapters of Dragon Ball. I'm like, what
trust me, I get it. Do you trust that I get it?
I believe. Thank you for letting me say
but was lit a little bit.
Was okay, I will give you that though. And I'm not gonna lie, when he fought the Warhound, I was like, oh yeah, I remember when I read I have no idea what you're about to see. And the fight looked so good. So good. That's why note that my art style and animation and fights scores are super high. Because
we need to get the fights yet.
Yeah, let's move on so we can just all agree on something.
If you like this hoodie, you know where to check it out. blackattireclothing.com. Go handle that just like I did. Simple, really.